Hello, beautiful people. Was inspired to do this message today. Notes because it was, regardless of how enlightened a person is, you're always tested. You're always testing yourself of triggers, old patterns of thinking, right? Regardless, and it's a way to keep getting higher and higher. There's no stopping, dude. So anyways, today's videos, it just was inspired today to do this because I know there's a lot of people going out there going through this, and we must learn how to not be reactive to triggers that occur to us, right? We must learn how to be proactive, meaning reactive, responding, lashing out, out of anger, whatever, right? And this is what they say, count to 10, punch a wall, whatever, punch a pillow, hold your breath, whatever you got to do. But just do not do what you normally do. And it takes a lot of willpower and a lot of observation and mindfulness, awareness to not get stuck in that, because we're so conditioned to be reactive a certain way. Someone pisses you off, oh, what the, right? Like, just learn to chill the fuck out and just be cool. As I said, be proactive, not reactive, right? And I'm gonna help you understand why we should do that. So you have to realize through every experience, whatever it's out there that's triggering you, one, it's an opportunity for you to understand what you have to work on within yourself, right? And it's beautiful once you really understand it, because you start realizing, dude, I got a lot of stuff to work on. You're no longer putting the blame on that person across from you, regardless of who it is, a boss, a coworker, an ex, a boyfriend, or girlfriend, or neighbor, or family member. It doesn't matter. You're no longer placing that blame on them, because you are understanding how this game of life is played, meaning it's all you. Your reaction, your proactiveness is your awareness of you, even though you feel that they are triggering you. It's not them, it's all you. And this is beautiful, because even with the Kundalini Samadhi that I went through, right, even though my EEGs can show and prove it, right, they show black and white, it's there, I can no longer think from my amygdala, meaning the reptilian part of my brain. My eyes open, my eyes close. It is straight alpha. And I posted those results on my page. Anyways, but even then, it doesn't mean those patterns aren't there. It just means you cannot think from that spot anymore, which majority of the people do, which basically says you're thinking as if you're being chased by dinosaurs, right? It's the survival part. Now, they do come in handy, right? The amygdala does come in handy. If there's a threat or something, and you gotta be, you do have to react quickly, of a car crash or something, or getting out of the way. Yeah, it's great to have those things. But to live by that every day, 90% of your life, is not the way to go. And that's what people are doing, and they don't even realize they're doing it. That's what's so beautiful about this higher education that's there. It's another type of education that's there that doesn't involve, some of the people that were blessed enough to go to these, wild schools and higher educational schools. There's another education out there of awareness that's here for everybody, and everyone will learn that education, regardless if they want to or not. That's life. It's just how they perceive it, the perception, and what they call it is what's key. So this is what's wild. We tend to be reactive instead of proactive, and hate on the experience or that situation or that person, not realizing it's all within us. It's giving us the opportunity to work within us. Where have we done an experience and lashed out the same way as the way that we think these people are triggering us? When have we done it to someone else? When you dig deep enough, you'll find it. And when you find it, you'll be less reactive. It takes a little discipline, but because of neurogenesis, neuroplasticity, it's very possible. Now, I'm going to break something down very, very easy for you to understand, and hopefully you do understand. But when you do, it makes things a lot much easier, guys. It's just like, wow. So regardless of who it is, you have to realize majority of the people are always thinking from that reptilian part of the brain, the amygdala, right? Dr. Demartini talks about it. At first I was like, what? But years later, it just brought me full circle back after all the experiences I've had. And I'm talking, including me. I can get triggered, but I'm my awareness causes me to pause instead of react or proact. And I sit there and ask myself questions. When you ask yourself questions to make what you're unaware of aware until it equals yourself out, so you see that every experience, every situation has a positive and negative, you start to see things different. You become more of your authentic self instead of becoming biased coming into any experience or situation. It makes a difference, I'm telling you. Dr. John Demartini has a free assessment you can take online, right? And it's free. I highly suggest everyone do it. I'll try to find, I'll post a link below. I'll remind myself here. Sorry. Okay. Thank you for your patience here. So when you feel that these people are triggering you, understand, and there's experiences all throughout life. There's all kinds of scenarios that this happens to, again, with family, brothers, sister, cousins, workers, bosses, nieces, nephews, whatever, dude. It's all the same, right? So when you understand this, it's going to solve a lot of problems. And help just your whole life, man. So right now, because of COVID and whatnot, and everyone had to actually, stay home and take a good look at that mirror, be in solitude, see that mirror is their best friend and their worst enemy, not realizing that person in the mirror is actually a community of 70 to 100 trillion cells, all working in concert to make you a walking miracle. And then within each cell is 100 trillion atoms, all working in concert to make even on your worst freaking day. Okay? So anyhow, when you're experiencing getting triggered, understand that other person, the reason why they are acting that way or thinking that way cognitively, there's always a deeper meaning behind that is being run by their subconscious mind, which is being conditioned by their thinking through the amygdala, right? If that makes sense. In other words, if someone's always thinking from the reptilian part of their brain, which is the survival part, right? And they're basing their decisions and all that, they are conditioning their mind based off that thinking, okay? So you got to get yourself, you got to rise above it. That's what they're talking about. Another good secret is that I said on my last video is the golden key. Keep whatever terminology you got to keep, whether you call it God, whether you call it Allah, whether you call it energy, whether you call it absolute, omnipresent, whatever, it's all the same. Whatever's right for you, okay? And so when that person's thinking that way, understand that there's always a subconscious belief system that's having them think that, just like there's a subconscious belief system that's triggering you, right? There's a reason why you're being triggered. But right now, we're gonna, without getting you confused, let's stick to that person that you feel that's triggering you. So I'm gonna give this example. A lot of people are going through divorce right now, right? Because of, obviously, they're just falling apart. And people, understand, it works both ways. So don't get butthurt, right? For the example I'm going to use, it works both ways. And even though, listen to what I say, even though their subconscious beliefs on both genders are false, totally false, it's that internal talk that causes them to believe this, they're both wrong for thinking this, because that's not who they are. That's not who we are at the core. Now I can talk about the story. So if you have a couple that's divorcing, and let's just say the mother is always talking about how the father is a bad father and talking bad about him to their children, or vice versa, again, works both ways. And I'm not saying that, maybe there's always truth. There's a shadow behind every truth, right? So obviously there's fathers out there that could be considered bad fathers, whatever you want to label them as, but there's also good fathers out there, and vice versa. Fathers that say that mothers are bad, some mothers are bad, but there's good mothers out there. So in this case, the example I'm using, if this a wife is talking about the dad, okay, so that you understand, there are always subconscious beliefs of why that's causing that female to always talk bad and bash the dad, or talk bad about the dad to the kids, thinking I gotta say this, I gotta say this, I gotta do this. She's thinking this cognitively, but it's based off of subconscious belief. Now, this is the deal. Again, working both ways, guys. Remember that. Cognitively, that person is having to say this because at a subconscious level, if they don't say it, their belief is that they're a bad mother. Just like if it's the male always saying, oh, it's a bad mom, I'm bashing her with the kids, yeah. Not realizing the damage it's doing to the kids, by the way, which is even more important, but that's another video. That father saying that, there's a subconscious belief in there beneath all that thinking that's causing them to think that and feel that if that father doesn't say that, it's saying that he's a bad father. So it's like a defense mechanism. Again, you're working from the amygdala because of a subconscious belief that's not even true, because they're both wrong. And at the end of the day, who gets affected the most? The children. And that's just one example out of many. But I think that one will hit home for a lot of people, regardless in their lifetime, their current situation or prior situation, or their, when they were being racist, when they were children, whatnot. I mean, just understand, when you can understand that's the way things work on all levels of life, through all experiences, there's always a subconscious reasoning why a person is reacting that way cognitively, acting out, shouting out, putting blame, whatever, right? So when you understand that, and when you do, you're awakening yourself to be like, wow, dude, like, whoa. You're not so reactive in judging them and reacting in this, you're not going to that level of energy. You're thinking from a higher place, people. I mean, it seems so simple, but yet we make it so difficult, and when you can really, truly grasp this, it's like, dude, it's a game changer, right? Because instead of hating on them, if you can understand, when you have a thought, and that thought says, hey, I want to move my right hand, and you move your right hand, there's something behind that thought that's allowing you to move. Whatever I want to call it, okay, that's what it is. So that it, and I'm not going to use God because God is a noun, and when you put God as a noun, as a person, place, or thing, and that's nowhere near. And I'll give the correct sequence here in a bit as we end, to help you understand how far off we are from what we think is God because of the conditioned mind. But when you realize when a person's acting out that way because of a subconscious belief within themselves, then you're less prone to hate on that. Because if you hate on it, you're just throwing more fire. You're just matching their level of intensity, and it never ends well. And again, you get so focused on whatever, you forget about what's the most important thing, right? Whatever that subject is, or in this case, this example, the children, right? Because they're getting their own perception and being programmed by their own views and what's being said to them, right? Not cool. So instead of hating on it, when you realize that whatever's behind that, it is not that person, that within that person, that experience, that place, that thing, whatever the situation is in all experiences of life, it's always the divine, the absolute, the omnipresent, the real you, the true you, higher self, whatever you want to call it. It's always that. And when you understand that, it's just a game changer, because instead of hating on it, you start throwing at your blessings from your heart space. And I'm saying, just in your mind, just saying, I bless the situation. I bless her. I bless you. I bless him. I bless it. I bless the experience. I know God's within that situation, within that experience. Because God is all and all is God. you know, or whatever you want to title it. Again, I'm trying to keep the terminology simple, because at the end of the day, when I say we don't really understand, we can only comprehend, and I can break it down. That's another 2-hour video, but in short, this is the sequence of things, so you understand how far off we are from understanding what the omnipresence is. Cause, spirit, intelligence, the word, which is the activity of intelligence, then effect. So cause, spirit, intelligence, God, the word, effect. Cause, spirit, intelligence, God, the word, effect. And we're at God. We're still missing a wide gap there. And people, they say, oh, all things are possible with God. Yeah, go let God. But yet they sit there and stress over the petty shit, or argue over petty shit. That same one divine source, because there's only one source, right? It's your belief system, collective belief system, that splits it up into whatever. The devil, whatever, everything. That's a whole other thing. Anyways, the point being is, instead of on any situation in life, send it love, send it your blessings. Even if it's hard, because you can understand something and it can be proven scientifically and you understand, just like we know subconscious mind runs our day. You can understand it cognitively, but if it's not a belief system, it's like, oh, dude, right? You can hear it 100 times, but still, take the chance. The golden key, as I said in my last video, always think God, think from a higher level, think of higher consciousness, whatever it is, terminology you got to tell yourself, but send that experience and that person blessings from your heart space. Because what you do, when you do that, you awaken, you allow, even though it's going to happen anyhow, but you are helping awaken that divine within them. That is them, the true them. Not the person, that perception of what you want to label that person as, or the avatar, or whatever that personality, because at the end of the day, it's simply the divine expressing itself, right? In its own individual way, which, remember, we are all, and everything is all an individual expression of that divine. And I say individual because individual is undivided. Individual means undivided. So the next time you're in that scenario, even as hard as it may be, and you want to just pick up the phone or send a text or scream back, just pause and just breathe, count to 5, whatever you got to do. Instead of hating on it, send them your blessings and watch what happens. Give it an opportunity to show you something remarkable, and you'll be surprised. So I hope that this is able to help someone at some given time. Thank you all. Love, light, and peace, and God bless.